Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Sockers and the Major Arena Soccer League. Coming to you live on the San Diego Sockers Twitch channel. Craig Elsten, Jerry Jimenez, reunited back once again for Season 4, Episode 6. Jerry, calling this one Tac-Oh. What a great start to the season for San Diego.
What a great start. What a great game. We got to see a lot of goals. If you wanted to see goals, this was the game to watch. My goodness. That was quite an interesting game. I'm sure we're going to get into that, but we have a whole bunch of other things to talk about, sir.
We sure do. We got a home opener coming up this Sunday. The 652-day interregnum between soccer's home games is about to finally close. San Diego will be at home at 5 o'clock taking on Chihuahua Savage, a game we'll have live for you, of course, on MASL TV on YouTube, but we hope to see you out at the Grand Old Arena, Pechanga Arena, San Diego, coming up on Sunday at 5 o'clock. We got a lot of things going on in the show today, Jerry. Coming up on this Episode 6, Season 4, Soccer's Overtime, we're going to bring you the recap and the highlights from the Sockers 10-7 victory over the Tacoma Stars at Acesto Showwear Center up in Kent, Washington last Saturday. We'll take a look at all the results from around the league, take the first look at what happened this weekend. The Blast picking up 2 huge wins on the East Coast against Milwaukee and against Utica. We'll go through that. Coming up in just about a half hour, 27 minutes or so, Charlie Gonzalez will join us, one of the finalists for MASL Player of the Week this week. 2 goals, 2 assists in his Soccer's debut. We will hear from Charlie live on Soccer's Overtime, scheduled to join us at 5:30 p.m. And as we wrap things up, we'll talk, Jerry, about new rules in California, changes to the public safety guidelines for indoor gatherings. We'll get into all of that, preview the Chihuahua Savage match, get everybody ready for that home opener. That sounds like a full show to me.
That sounds like a very full show. And also, I am noticing a little bit of like some audio stuff in the background. If you're hearing it, we do apologize. A lot of it has to do, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm wearing a beanie. I have like a heater on. It's cold. It is cold today. It was rainy in San Diego. I know probably our East Coast friends are laughing at us right now, like, haha, you know nothing. But yeah, we apologize if we do get any sort of audio things. It may be our internet. It's being a little wonky with this rain. So, but yeah, other than that, I'm excited, man, because we do have, like you said, a match to review, a match to preview, and then a whole bunch of other things going on in the arena and changes in California that we have to talk about. So let's get into it, sir. What do you say?
Let's absolutely do it. Soccer's Overtime is underway. We thank every one of you who are joining us live on our channel. If you are listening to this on the podcast, of course, we thank you. We are just as equally happy to have your ears along for the ride. Subscribe to us. If you're watching on Twitch, subscribe in your phone's podcast app to Soccer's Overtime and receive the audio version of this and all the other podcasts that we do free into your phone. But if you're listening on your phone, go ahead and make a bookmark. Twitch.tv/San Diego Sockers. Again, Twitch.tv/San Diego Sockers. This is our live broadcast home. This is where we are every Tuesday night during the regular season, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And this is where, soon enough, Jerry, other things will be happening, more live events from the San Diego Sockers. But here we are, and, every offseason, right, we go through Soccer's Overtime Extra, Summer Overtime, all of the preseason, all of the talk, the anticipation, the waiting. We've got a game. We've got a result. And even better, the Sockers are on the good foot. They're 1-0, victorious, 10 goals in the season opener. Really a lot to like about what we saw with the friends out at the Dana on Mission Bay, out at the tropical pool for our viewing party on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was a awesome night. It was a very busy night for us as well, with a couple of events going on, and then finding our way to the Dana. It was actually not too cold of a night. Luckily, it didn't rain on us. It was just nice. It was cool, but it wasn't cold, I would say. Lots of awesome. There's fantastic food and some other some drinks and things like that. So it was a good time. I got to meet a lot of people. So it was great to meet quite a few of the people that were there. And then there was a little bit of struggling, but Craig, you finally got it to work. Your laptop was doing double duty. You were doing double duty that whole day, making sure that the computer was working so you could watch the game. And luckily, a lot of the game's goals didn't come until a little bit later in the match, so that was a good thing.
Yeah, we appreciated that. Thanks to everybody, right, for their patience. And Tacoma had themselves a little bit of a day on Saturday night in terms of having internet issues up at Acesso Showwear Center. They had a couple of drops. And, anytime you're in a watch party and it's like your laptop that is locked in, providing the stream, and then you see that dreaded buffering circle pop up on the screen, like you feel like a parent, you're like, no, son, don't do that, please.
Yeah.
Stay clean, circle, go away. And so it turned out it was them, it wasn't us. And you're like, oh, it's their problem. That's cool. So yeah, great time out there, as you mentioned. Even though it was a chilly night, it wasn't so cold. All the different area warmers out there kept everyone nice and toasty. It was great to have the live grill out there, people having burgers, hot dogs, and of course, because we were there to help build the supporter culture, Jerry, we brought a few beers along the way as well. So we had a great time.
Good times. But we get to talk about some players that we didn't get to talk about last show.
Yes.
So we danced around it. For the people that listened, no clue whatsoever. But those that were live got to see maybe some of the names before they were released. So, hey, once in a while, I mean, it pays to sign up to be a part of this community and to be here for free, by the way, here on Twitch. You get some inside information, but now we can talk about them, sir.
Yeah, well, so let's do that, right? Let's start just with the lineup for San Diego against Tacoma up at Acesso Showwear Center, because as you mentioned, the day before the game, the Sockers announced not only 6 player signings made official, some of which, if you had been around, you kind of got the idea, but also a player call-up from SD Sockers too. So a lot of change for the Sockers going into that very first match, because as you know, Jerry, the Sockers didn't have either of their two, you could say, 2 starting defenders, or 2 out of their top 4 defenders, in terms of Cesar Cerda, Pee-wee Ortega not being available for selection on Saturday up at Acesso Showwear Center. But the Sockers announcing the signing of some huge help to the midfield before the game. Jamie Lovegrove, the veteran from the Mesquite Outlaws, the Dallas Sidekicks, and one tour of duty previously with San Diego, in for the 2021-22 campaign. And let's start right there, because that's the player I feel like we were really dancing around the most, Jerry, on last week's show. Jamie was in training on that Tuesday last week, so we knew that he was going to be there, that he was preparing to sign, but it wasn't official yet, so we couldn't put the cart before the horse. But, when you talk about Jamie Lovegrove, you're talking about a veteran who's been there, right? Who's in, I believe, his 10th indoor season, but he's 31 years old. So not a player at the end of his career, a player right in the prime of his career. Jamie Lovegrove, the pride of Crawley, England, and Crawley Town FC, and a goal a game scorer in the MASL in his career. Right there, I think it's 77 goals in 73 games or something like that. So Lovegrove comes out and opens the account for the Sockers for 2021-22, gets that first goal of the season. And we talked around it last week, but now let's be clear about it. When we talked about adding that middle class for the Sockers, you have Tavoy Morgan, Brandon Escoto, Charlie Gonzalez, Craig Childs, guys who are going to be great scorers and creators in the league. Jamie Lovegrove is that guy that, like, hey, plug him in for about a point a game, plug him in for a point, 0.2 points per game. And when you get that kind of production out of the second group, then you've really got something going. Then you've got an attack, Jerry, that might start to be relentless.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'd love to see what he was able to do and make an impact right away. We did see, Lovegrove actually make his second debut, I guess. What would you call it, with the Sockers? Which was, it was exciting. I didn't realize he had so much hair too. So I think I need to fix this picture. The one that we posted. At one point, I actually even had to make I did a double take, because I was like, is that Mitchell Cardenas? No, wait a minute. But yeah, no, sure enough, Lovegrove comes in, makes an impact right away in the club. That's what we need. We need somebody that can score goals, even if it's one. You need to start it, and he started this game with the goal for the soccer. So I love it.
Yeah, even if it's one or even if it's Juan, because another signing and a great signing, Juan Gonzalez, the twin
Sick.
brother of Felipe Gonzalez, who contributes an incredible eyes in the back of his head assist to his twin brother. That was the sixth goal of the game for the Sockers in an eventual 10-7 victory. Juan Gonzalez was part of the Sockers 23-1 club in 2018-19. Coming into 2019-2020, the Sockers felt like they had a level of depth to which they traded out Juan Gonzalez and Juan Manuel Rojo, who we'll talk about in just a second, to the Turlock Cal Express to be able to be every game players instead of occasional players. But Juan Gonzalez never forgot how to play. He may not have the exact same level of scoring acumen that his twin Felipe has in terms of just the nose for the net, but Juan makes all the smart plays. Juan's that kind of steady Eddie player that you absolutely want to have on your team, that is fundamental, that is in the right place, that understands positioning, and that understands contribution. And as some of our fans said to us at the watch party, Jerry, it's great to have Felipe on the team. It's great to have Juan on the team. But when you have Felipe and Juan on the team together, then you get Wonder Twin power. Wonder Twin power activates. And that's what we saw. Those two are obviously going to be on that ESP, different level that they have, because they can literally finish each other's sentences. If you stab Juan in the foot with a fork, Felipe feels pain. I mean, that's how it works. I understand, for identical twins, Jerry.
Yeah. I mean, you saw it. You saw it last game. That pass was incredible. Let me see if I can throw this graphic up here real quick. But, if we're talking about the Gonzalez's as well, there's another pair of Gonzalez's in the squad that, are also making an impact. And then along with who I would say is, probably another brother to them, even though they don't share a last name and probably don't share blood. But Andy Reyes coming in along with those other two, with Charlie and with Bebe, I think that's another great addition to the squad that we couldn't necessarily really talk about as well. So, what were your thoughts on that as well coming into this game? I mean, I think we expected them to bring something, but I don't think I was expecting quite what they brought. I was excited to see that.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about that next level of players on the graphic you showed in terms of Andy Reyes, in terms of Charlie Gonzalez's brother, Jose Gonzalez, who is available as a defender for selection as well and got a chance to run on Saturday up in Tacoma. So we've got a 4 Gonzalez roster with 2 pairs of Gonzalez brothers related to one another, but not to the other pair. So that's super easy to figure out and follow. The 4 Gonzalez San Diego Sockers. And I'm with KV Ibbard, or K Vibbard there on our comments list here on Twitch. It's so fun to watch the twins together and the opportunity for them to play off one another. So we've got Juan Gonzalez, we've got Jamie Lovegrove, we got Andy Reyes up or down from Ontario, Jose Gonzalez, another former Ontario Fury player, some of the bench depth of the Fury transferring over to the Sockers roster. And then let's keep going with that graphic, because we mentioned him, Juan Manuel Rojo, otherwise known as Little Rojo. Are we ever going to see Big Rojo? Keep your fingers crossed. If you have a Visa god, pray to the Visa gods that we will be seeing Ismael, otherwise known as Big Rojo, in the future for the Sockers. But Juan Manuel Rojo, do not overlook Juan Manuel Rojo in his one season up in Turlock, Jerry, from the defender position. 14 goals, 8 assists, 22 points. He's got the size at 6'1". He's got the ranginess and the speed to be able to impact both ends of the floor for the San Diego Sockers. And we actually saw it during the match in Tacoma, when in the third quarter, he sent Brandon Escoto out on a breakaway, which he later scored, got the assist on that. And then he himself had a breakaway later in the same quarter and was able to finish it off himself, a lovely counterattack that turned into a goal. So having a player like Juan Manuel Rojo Rojo, 26 years old, another player on this roster, another guy who could theoretically grow into a role for years to come. I tell you, when Tuesday morning, when I turned up at the arena, Monday I was out there at Bradley Park and looking at Cheeky Luna. We talked about it last week, looking at Cheeky in the parking lot going, you're on the phone and you're calling a player? You better be calling a player. Hope you're calling more than one player. And then you show up Tuesday at the Grand Ole Arena and there's Lovegrove and there's Wangan and there's Rojo. And you say, okay, we got ourselves a team here all of a sudden. Rojo's a huge ad.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with this. Keep the Gonzo Golazos coming all season long. Why not? We have 4 of them. That means that's more opportunities for Gonzo Golazos right there. I love it.
Yeah, we had 3 Gonzalez goals in the first game. How many Gonzo goals can we have over the course of the year? Let's go Gonzo for Gonzo goals. I like it.
We're gonna have to call Califino and see if they can make something like this happen right here. Look at there you go.
Los Cuatros Gonzalez. Maybe that's our 3 Punk Ales beer. Because, of course, we need to remind you and we need to pop the logo up that Soccer's Overtime is always proudly presented by 3 Punk Ales Brewing in Chula Vista, California, our proud beer sponsor of the San Diego Sockers. Visit their tasting room off of 3rd Avenue in Chula Vista. Go to 3punkales.com. That's the number 3 Punk Ales, ALES.com. Check out everything that they've got available for you to go down and sample in the tasting room. What do they have in cans right now? What could you order in a growler or a crowler? Would you like delivery? They'll do it all for you. 3punkales.com. Next month, Jerry, we will be back at 3 Punk Ales, bringing down all this stuff, bringing down the lights, bringing down the mics, and doing a live on Twitch. Soccer's Overtime. I cannot wait for that.
That's news to me. Is that what we're doing? All right. I guess I'll see you guys there. Okay, good.
We're gonna totally do that.
Hey, this is okay. So for those of you that are watching, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw myself under the bus. So you're probably seeing the beer that I'm drinking. It's not necessarily the smallest thing ever. As we're getting closer to this upcoming game, it's been very stressful times. You see Craig there. He's just drinking coffee, probably.
Yeah, I'm just drinking coffee.
I can't hide this thing. So cheers to everybody. Thank you for putting up with us. And trust me that there's a lot going on right now behind the scenes. So one of the things is, hey, I guess we're going to see you next Tuesday at 3 Punk Ales.
No, not next Tuesday. I said next month. Next month.
Oh, next month. Oh, I thought you
next
said
month. I said next month. No, not next Tuesday. It's too close to the holidays. I don't want to go down there.
Oh, okay. That's better. Okay, sorry.
I mean, I always want to go down there, but not to do the show.
Yeah.
I just want to go down there to have a Tres Animales, or maybe a Putin on the wrist. There's so many different options.
So many options, but you know what's there's so many options of too? Having a guest come with us. Why don't we ask our listeners and see who they think should come down? So this is where you get your input heard. Send us on the comments right now if you're here on Twitch. Let us know who you think should come down to 3 Punks and join us for our first ever live in person Twitch from a location that is in our studios. So go get in the comment section. Let us know who you think.
Absolutely. Please drop in the comments who you'd like to see be our live guest in January. Let me just say it that way, Jerry. That way you can, it'll be even clearer. In January, when we go down to 3 Punk Ales, because I'll tell you, it's so much easier for me to go to practice and say, hey, by the way, I'd like you to come down and be at 3 Punk live with us because the listeners demanded it. The listeners specifically told me they want you to be on the show. Makes it very easy for me to get the producing job done. So stay tuned for that. By the way, I see our friend Caleb at Booty Hippie in the comments saying this is going to be his first season following indoor soccer. And I say, welcome along for the ride, Booty Hippie. This is what we are here for on Soccer's Overtime, is to try and bring some of the lore of the game, some of the excitement of the sport, some of the inside information that can make you a true fan, that can really get you fired up, get you knowledgeable, get you prepared. Because I think everybody, when they come into a game and they're like, oh my gosh, it's Chihuahua, and we know that means it's Kike Cañas, and we know that means it's Adrian Miller, and all the, like, oh wow, this is going to, it's so much more exciting than, oh, there's a game. What do I get? Who are they playing? What's going on? So that's what we're here for. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. Let's talk a little bit more about the game before we welcome on our special guest, Jerry, and just kind of go through what happened, because it was a game of runs for the San Diego Sockers at Acesso Showwear Center on Saturday against the Tacoma Stars. And what a terrific way to start things off. A 3-goal burst in about 3 minutes toward the second half of the first quarter, a little bit closer toward the end of the first quarter, but things getting started with the 1-2-3 for San Diego, getting 3 goals on the board in a quick hurry. We talked about Lovegrove getting it started with a lovely counterattack run to Voy Morgan finishing, as well as Gerardo Jurado. And I really think if you go through the highlights, Jerry, and you see kind of the style of the goals the Sockers scored, in many ways reminiscent of the playoffs in terms of counterattacking. You know, being in that defensive zone and creating the counterpunch, and then having that ability to get the ball over the top. And for those watching on Twitch, we're throwing some highlights on the screen in the background, but a lot of breakaway type situations, even Gerardo Jurado missing a potential game's first goal. Soccer seemed to really get a lot of good runouts and be able to get that step on the defense, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you see it. Oh, here's the first goal by Lovegrove there. What? Yeah, that was just beautiful. It ended up just taking that with him. But people like Gerardo Jurado, just out of nowhere, I think you've said it before, we have some players on the team when, when they're good, they're good. You know, when they're in form, when they're ready to go, they're just amazing. Gerardo Jurado is one of those players, I would say. Tavoy Morgan just doing Tavoy Morgan things, man. Just it's another one of those that is just like fantastic. We go up, 3-0 pretty quickly there after that first Lovegrove goal. Unfortunately, we do end up kind of losing a little bit of that stride as we get further along, and they managed to catch up, which is not unusual in the indoor game. For those of you, especially, Booty Hippie, you said you're starting to watch this. This is one of those things that's very different from the indoor, from the outdoor going into the indoor game. Is 3-0 is nothing. 4-0
right.
Sometimes is nothing. You can see that come right back, and you even see
the goalkeeper trying to score. Yeah,
trying to score there. Yeah, it's such an interesting time, and there you see the first goal coming in from Tacoma. Juice, as they call him. Why do they call him Juice, by the way?
Jamel Juice Cox, because he's got the juice. He's fast.
He is pretty fast. He has long, super long, lanky legs, and he is crazy good. He's one of their definitely. Would you say the player of the match, right?
For Tacoma, yeah. I mean, for us, I'd say it's Charlie and it's Escoto. And, you talked about it, how it's a game of runs. And, the first quarter was all Sockers. It was 3-0. The second quarter was 2-0 Tacoma. The Stars came out really smart to start the third quarter, got the equalizing goal. And then it was really the kind of moment that in other years, other games could really turn things against you completely. The Stars got a shorthanded goal, which is showing on the monitor right now, from Nick Pereira to go ahead 4-3. And the Sockers on the power play concede. They're down 4-3. But instead, the Sockers really turned up the pressure. And I thought, first of all, you see Charlie Gonzalez tying things up. But the go-ahead goal forced directly because of the new goalkeeper rule, Jerry. The Sockers initiated high pressure in the defensive zone. The Stars used up the one touch from Danny Waltman quickly. And as such, as you see in this play that we're watching, under pressure, Charlie Gonzalez able to steal it, quickly feed Brandon Escoto, beats Danny Waltman over his head with a left-footed cannon, and it's 5-4. And I really thought, and just going through the game film as well for coaching film stuff, Jerry, I thought the Sockers were really, really effective in applying smart pressure at the right time. And in particular, taking advantage of the new rule, noticing, once that goalkeeper touches the ball with his foot and releases it, he's X'd out of the play. He can't be used again. So that's the time, if you can get somebody in a tough position, to jump in, to force pressure, to create a turnover. You create that turnover, all of a sudden you've got a 2v1 going right down on the net. And Brandon Escoto, if you can go 1v1 with keeper, Brandon Escoto is going to beat him most of the time.
Yeah, if you go back and actually watch this game, which I did, you see how well they spread themselves out, and they were in a position where very easily could put pressure at the right moment, at the right time, like you just said, and it just felt like the pressure was on Tacoma when it needed to be. It wasn't always there. Sometimes Tacoma was pressuring on San Diego, but I think that was on purpose, where San Diego was sitting back a little bit while they were ahead, just to see what they could, pull off and maybe do on a counter. But you could see that the amount of pressure and where they put the pressure, when they put the pressure on Tacoma, was really efficient. And there you see that another Golazo to bring us to 6-4 in the third quarter there.
I really think another hidden story in the game on Saturday, Jerry, was that there was a period of time in the third quarter where Tavoy Morgan was unavailable. Now, by the time we see this replay and highlight back, 2 minutes left in the third, Tavoy was back. But at the very, very beginning of the third quarter, in the opening minute, he swung his leg into an opposing defender, was out, was off the pitch, was taken to the locker room for a couple of minutes. And the Sockers moved Brandon Escoto up to a forward position to take Tavoy's spot up top. And at that point, you started to see Escoto and Charlie Gonzalez on the floor at the same time. And holy cow, Charlie Gonzalez and Brandon Escoto assisted on the other player's goal 3 different times in the second half.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's just the power that we have right now is pretty evident. I think it was to be expected. Tacoma is like we said the last show. It's the Tacoma that we kind of have come to know. It's the same kind of players, but this Sockers team, I don't think people are expecting the type of chemistry. I think maybe some are underestimating the chemistry that is in this team. I don't think a lot of people really understand and we'll talk to Charlie a little bit later and we can ask him about this, but a lot of these guys have played together and continue to play together off season, and even before then we're playing together in other teams. So they understand each other and they get they've known each other, I should say, and are able to just pull things off that are just crazy. And obviously having brothers, they know each other, right? The twins do.
Yeah.
But look at this run here too. Like Rojo, right? Yep. What a goal. Beautiful.
That's what we're talking about. I mean, and I saw Gabe ask a question in the comments saying did the coaches make an extra emphasis on fitness for the Sockers because he's loving the pace of the runs? And I mean, you really do see it throughout this highlight reel that we're running in terms of multiple breakaway type goals, multiple open field, wide field goals. And it's lovely to see, first off. And second off, I want to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff from Phil Silvaggio, Chiqui Luna, Rene Ortiz, because there has been an emphasis on fitness. The club came in 2 weeks earlier than they had in previous seasons in terms of getting training camp started. They've been working with Anne-Marie Alf, Olympus Movement Performance. Every day in training, the first 20 minutes are pretty hardcore physical stuff to make sure the guys have the fitness level right. And I could not agree with Gabe more, Jerry, in terms of seeing that fitness level, seeing that level of speed. And then, as he's saying, too, the goalie change rule makes the game a little bit faster. It keeps the ball moving from defenders to midfielders and the ball going up the field and long balls heading up the field. And the Sockers were well positioned to be able to take control of the game as it wore into the third and fourth quarters. And I think their legs were a big part of the reason why.
Oh, yeah, 100%. No, I mean, I was not expecting to see this team. And yeah, I mean, we conceded 7, but I think that's part of what this role is kind of going to allow. And I think also, hey, when you're going to score a lot of goals, you may have a lot of goals scored on you. What do you say to that effect, actually, as far as, giving 7 up? We did 7 up. We scored 10, but we did have 7 scored against us. What do you account that to?
Well, first off, I mean, we could mention the fact that the Sockers had 2 of their top defenders out, right?
Yeah.
So on that level, when you don't have a Serta, when you don't have Pee Wee, that's going to give a little more space. But frankly, Tacoma should score goals. You've got Vinny Dantas and Nick Pereira alternating it forward. You got 60 minutes of two of the top target forwards in the entire league on the same team in Tacoma. And I do believe, Jerry, we're going to see in general more offense this year as a result of the goalkeeping change, the possession rule. I think it's going to be a more offensive season. So for me, I was fine with the total goals allowed. Yes, you want to see the Sockers have those hard defensive 3-goal, 4-goal allowed games. You want to see that as the year wears on. You want to see that against a team like the Fury, who really want to slow it down. But I think the pace of the game in Tacoma, it was a little bit up and down. You saw the open field. You saw some spread out runs. And I think that really benefited San Diego.
100%. Yeah, no, it was really exciting to see. It's going to be interesting to see also how other teams are adapting and how they adapt. But I mean, just overall, good times. Is there anything else we need to cover before we get to our guest?
No, let's welcome him in right now, because waiting in the green room, so to speak, in the wings, we'd like to welcome onto the show one of the newest San Diego Sockers, who came out with a banger of a debut, 2 goals, 2 assists, teaming up with Brandon Escoto, as we mentioned, each assisting on the other's goal 3 different times in the second half. Here he is, Charlie Gonzalez, Juan Carlos Charlie Gonzalez, joining us live on Twitch on Soccer's Overtime. Your friends Craig and Jerry here. Charlie, great to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Thanks the pleasure is ours. How do you like our new setup? Do you like the new digs here?
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Awesome. Well, hey, we were just playing the highlights from the game, talking through it. Let's hear from a guy who was down there on the field making the magic happen. What was your feel as in terms of the pace and the flow of the game? 17 goals scored. It seemed like it was really up and down.
No, it was great. Like you say, like you were mentioning earlier, the pace was, it was fast. We started off great. The first quarter, we went up 3 goals. But it's indoor. If you're up 3 goals, that doesn't really, define the game. It doesn't really matter, because it can change, in 5-10 minutes, and we saw that. But, it was good. I love the pace, and, it's a great group.
Jerry, one of the things I know that we were talking about, and I'm curious to get into, is yourself and Brandon Escoto. Because yes. when Juan Carlo, when you signed Charlie, we did a whole podcast on it, right? We tried to analyze it, break it down, and one of the big questions we had was, okay, Escoto and Charlie, are they going to run in twos? Is it going to be that it's always Escoto or Charlie on the field, or will it be Escoto and Charlie on the field together? In the second half, the answer was Escoto and Charlie, and the answer was a ton of goals, man. That seemed like that clicked right away.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon, he's a really fast player. He's, probably top 3 dribblers in the league. I played against this guy, every year. But we talked about it. I didn't know. It's the coach's decision to either have me and him going on the same line or on the field at the same time. But it's good being on the field with them. You just watch him dribble, let him do his thing, and then just try to find the open space, and he'll get you the ball,
Yeah, we tried to analyze it. We're like, well, how is this going to be? And I think a lot of people were not quite expecting what we got. They thought maybe at least the first game, right, there was going to be some sort of adjustment. But no, you guys looked like you had been playing with each other for years, even not against each other. Talking about adjustments and changing, one of the things that we had discussed was the rule change, right? The goal, that rule. We're just calling it the rule now, the goalkeeper rule, and how that was going to impact the game. How did you feel? How do you feel that it impacted the game, if at all? And you agree with us that it kind of made it a little bit faster?
I agree. It did make it faster. But for myself, I'm a midfielder. I like to play a little bit closer to opposite. I don't really think it had much impact on me. I like to receive the ball and try to go forward every single time. I think it does impact the play of the defenders. Obviously, they're closer to the keeper. When they're under pressure, their only option is to go back. But you saw there was a lot of movement from the guys, so I I don't think it really impacted us the way, everyone thought it would.
Yeah, in particular, Charlie, when I was going through the film and kind of breaking down clips, I was seeing clips of you guys and yourself in particular applying very smart pressure in terms of knowing, okay, Waltman's out of the play. Now we go. Now we crash in. Goal number 5 is achieved by you getting a steal along the wall, pinching and pressure. And then there was a chance a little bit earlier in the game that wasn't converted when it was 0-0. But the same thing, the crash, and then you were taking the player on the far wall that would have normally been the outlet pass out of the play by staying in the middle of the field and saying, you come this way, I'm going to pick off. I'm 1v1 with Waltman. So it did seem like the coaching staff gave you guys some really smart direction in terms of, okay, now we go. This is the time to press.
They did, and like you said before, when, we were able to play with the keeper as many times as we wanted to, you would have to press the keeper a little bit more, because if they play it back to him and you have the whole team pressing and you don't press the keeper, there's always going to be an outlet. But now, the defender can't really go back to the keeper. There's no need for us to press the keeper, because they're just going to find that split and find the switch. So when we press, there is a little bit, of a change. And obviously, we went over it with the coaches. But yeah, I think we just have to be a little bit smarter, staying a little bit tighter with our men instead of trying to press the keeper, because they're out of the play either way, So it makes it easier for us to win the ball back, and like you said, we had a few goals that came from pressing.
One of the things that we weren't able to really talk about too much in our last episode was our first time being on Twitch. So some people here in the comments actually got to hear a little bit about the new signings and some of the new members of the team that maybe we weren't able to really talk about. One of them you're probably very familiar with, or two of them actually. And how do you feel now that we have a full squad? I would say almost full squad, and then having some of these newer guys, especially the ones that were announced recently, your brother being one of them, Andy Reyes. We talked about obviously Rojo, and then also having another Gonzalez, making it 4 Gonzalez on the squad. What do you think about these guys and them coming into the squad?
It's great. They've been in the league, 5, 6, 7 years. And who doesn't want to play on the same team as a brother, And like you were saying, Andy's like my brother too. I went to school with him. We played, on the same team for over 10 years now. So it's like I see him as my brother now, and it's always fun to have him on the field during training, during the games. We like to push each other. We have that, that mentality that, doesn't matter if it's just one lap around the field or we're doing boards. Like, we always try to push each other, and, we try to compete against each other to see who's like, the fastest and stuff like that. But it just keeps that mentality, it helps me on the field with that confidence as well. And like the other guys too, Juan, obviously I played a year with him at the Fury. He's a guy that, he knows the game. He's a really smart player, really technical, and it's always nice having him on the field as well, because he makes it much easier for me. I know that if I lose the ball, he's back there, to defend and win the ball back. Same thing with Rojo. I played a few times with him as well, and during training, it's the same thing. They're really technical, strong defenders that they have your back no matter what. Xavier, the new goalie that's coming in, it's just his first year playing in the league. He's a great goalie. He's learning the game. The little details of being a keeper with the boards and all of that. But he has that that beach soccer background that really helps them.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Xavier Snare-Williams, because we are going to eventually see him in a game. We can't wait for that opportunity to see him in a game. But you had the chance to have a scrimmage last week on the floor at Pechanga Arena, Charlie, where Xavier was the guy you guys were taking shots at. And I think, I can speak for being next to the coaches, being next to players, to see his ability to stop shots, and to make like big saves, close saves, difficult saves. I think it's hard, and you can speak to this, to learn the angles as a keeper. It's hard to learn some of the minutia in terms of using the walls and whatnot. But in terms of just like, here's a shot, stop it. Xavier Snare-Williams can stop some shots, man.
No, yeah, he can, and he's like he's just built, and to be built like that, he's a guy that can move quick, can get low on the ground really fast, and I try to give him like here and there like some bit of advice, when to find the split, when to go long, and he's a guy that just wants to learn and he's hungry, to be on that field, and it's always good to to have players that have that mentality that just that take all the info in and just want to learn and are ready to go.
I can't wait for people to see all the cool stuff we've been working on for the Jumbotron during this game coming up. When Xavier plays, I'm so excited because some of his stuff was hilarious. He's such a character. But it seems like that's the one thing that I saw, and I think Craig and I had talked about it too, that you guys get along so well, man. Like, everybody's just having a good time and really soaking it all in. But also when it's game time, it's very serious. And when you guys talk about the game, it's serious. But you also get along. So there's this chemistry there that I'm seeing already, like just at the beginning of the season. That's just really, really cool. And I think Xavier brings something really, really interesting to the team too. So it's good to see that. And then Lovegrove too, who I haven't gotten to meet yet, but also a very good, experienced player as well, coming in and making a difference right away and scoring that goal to kick off things this last game. And we saw in the comments, Craig, maybe you can answer real quick. Is Lovegrove doing okay? Because I guess he was out for a bit.
So, he had a little bit of an ankle during the second half of the game, but I actually, as we were on the air, texted with our athletic trainer, Paul Savage, and Lovegrove is expected to be in the lineup this weekend.
All right, cool. Awesome.
So that's great news. Hey, on a personal level, Charlie, it's your debut wearing the Sockers crest, right? I mean, I've been here for 10 seasons. I've seen a lot of great players come in and have it take 6 games to get a goal, because they're a little bit pressing. They're a little bit whatever, they want to fit in. You're trying too hard. So along those lines, how nice was it to step in and it was like, boom, plug and play. There's Charlie Gonzalez, 2 goals, 2 assists.
No, it was great. Like you said, it's not easy coming into like a new team and, feeling that same confidence that they used to have. But, the guys are, they from day one, they made me feel like part of this team, part of this family. And, stepping on the field, it's just getting the first goal, especially. It's like, it's a good feeling, especially coming from that last season, obviously coming from a different team. The main goal is always to win that title, and I'm just hungry. I'm just, I'll do whatever it takes to get back to the final again and do whatever it takes to represent this club and, become champions again. I know it's not an easy thing to say because obviously there's a lot of great teams in the league, but, I always have that mentality, when I step on that field, I play like it's, it could be my last day playing, you never know. So I just try to give it my best, give it my all, and, I have that mentality going on the field. So, I mean, it felt great. It felt amazing scoring those goals. So just happy and excited to play at home at the arena.
Good segue into our home opener, because we do need to talk about that. Obviously, coming up, it's been, I don't know the count anymore. I feel like every time I see a MASL game now, they say it's been 600 and something days since
652. That's our number. Our number is 652.
652. Oh my gosh! So 652 days since we have been able to play at home. What does this mean to the team, and how excited are you to make that home opener debut, man?
For myself, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to have, my family and my friends, come out and support, being with the new team now, and just, I know the guys are, are anxious to get back on their home turf. Obviously last 2 seasons, they traveled a lot. I don't know how many games. I think it was like 18 games or 19 games since they haven't played at home, something like that. So, I mean, I know
18 in a row. Yeah.
Yeah. 18 in a row. So I know the guys are anxious to get back on the field. And, like I said, for myself, I'm just really excited. My family's really excited, my friends, everyone that's coming out, I have a couple kids that I coach. I have an academy in near Ontario. I have a couple kids that are going to come, so they're really excited. So, I always like to, show the kids that, they can reach their goals and whatever they they set their mind to, they can do it. It's just, I'm really excited. I can't wait.
Well, and of course, there will be, you're a part of our team. You're a part of our family now, Charlie. And we're so thrilled to have you as a part of it. And there's going to be this one moment before the game where you're going to feel just very slightly left out because your teammates will be getting championship rings. And we need to win another cup to get you that first championship ring. But I imagine seeing the rings go out, seeing the banner go up, and to see that banner be next to 14 other championship banners, it kind of reminds you you're in a different place now. You're on. I don't want to sound braggadocious saying this. I think it's just factual. The Sockers are indoor soccer royalty. This is the most respected, honored franchise in the history of the sport. And I mean, adding to a championship total like that, it's a little something special, isn't it?
No, yeah, it is. And like you were saying, I mean, all those banners up on the arena, it's something that I, always look forward to, winning the conference, winning the title, and having that banner go up on the arena and, just being part of this history. That's my main focus, my main goal, taking it game by game. But, the big goal is, getting that banner up there and being part of this history too.
Now let's wrap things up. We'll let you go here shortly, Charlie, but the Chihuahua Savage, I mean, I've got to feel like on one level, there are certain players that probably, okay, yes, I've played against this guy, whether it was Solis, whether it was Flash, but there's also a number of players who are coming from the Juarez team of M2 on Chihuahua Savage that maybe you haven't had the chance to run against. I feel like there's a little bit of an unknown with this club, and as such, tomorrow night they'll be playing up at Toyota Arena against Fury. I've just got to imagine all of us are going to have our eyes peeled trying to figure out exactly what the Savage have.
Yeah, and it's it's going to be hard to tell, like you said. Some of these new guys, they haven't played in the league, but they've been playing in the M2. They've been playing indoor for a while, so it's like it's not going to be a new thing for them. They do have a couple veterans joining their team. So it's going to be a good mix. I think it's going to be a tough team. I don't think any team in this league, it's not a team, to just take like, it's any other team. Every game is going to be a tough game. And, especially playing a team that you haven't really seen before, might be a little bit tricky, but we got to go in with that mentality that, it doesn't matter who we play, we all work together and we look to get that win.
Well, listen, my friend, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. You've been very generous with your time, with our audience here live on Twitch, and to everybody else, the hundreds listening around the country on our podcast a little bit later. We'll see you out at training tomorrow. Best of luck this coming weekend. It is a thrill to have you on board, man, and it's a thrill. Now, okay, I've got a question on the way out, because up in Ontario, they were always calling you Charlie Gonzalez, which is a cool name. I mean, that's a cool name, and I'm willing to stick with that. But that was like a Philly creation, and I mean, love my man Philly up there. Shout out Philly, Panda, JR, everybody else. But like, I didn't come up with that. So I don't know. Like, are you a big Charlie Gonzalez? Is it Good Time Charlie? That's an old saying. Good Time Charlie. Like, where do you land on this?
I mean, I don't really mind, but if you have another name that you want to make up, I'm all good for that too.
Fair enough. So I mean, I'll use Charlie Gonzalez when you hit a true Golasso, like not a tap it on the back post. I'm not going to Golasso that. That's just Charlie Goal.
Yeah.
It's routine for Charlie.
Right. The special ones, like, hey, that second goal when you boop right to left footer over Waltman, send Waltman down like a body bag, ball upper corner. That's a Charlie Gonzalez right there. Hey, Juan Carlos Charlie Gonzalez, thank you so much, man. It is great to have you on the San Diego Sockers. Have a great rest of your night, buddy.
You too. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
There he goes.
There it is.
Oh, man.
Mr. Charlie Gonzalez. Dude, what an exciting time for Sockers fans, because you saw the possibility. I mean, one of the things that I've always said, just in the sport of soccer, when you're going into a new season, you don't know what to expect. You're like, what's going to happen? This is the exciting part of it. And you saw a possibility of something that could actually be better, right? Against a team like Tacoma that we can't 100% judge and say, oh, yeah, well, they were, a worthy opponent or anything like that. But still not a good showing from the boys. And it's also just very good to hear coming straight out of the mouth of Charlie Gonzalez that the chemistry is there, that they're in the right place, not just mentally, but also physically as well. It's just really exciting times.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Some folks don't know why. Is there going to be a chemistry issue? Is there going to be enough balls to feed? Look what Charlie Gonzalez does.
Yeah.
I mean, he just fits in. He's a guy who's in the middle of your field. He's a classic central mid, right? He's a classic 10 in some way, or in terms of just somebody who's going to break things down, a Messi, a Donovan type, in terms of he's going to be that guy in the middle of the field that's making things happening. And it's a really lovely thing to see. I think an interesting comment too, from Key Vibbard that you're popping up on the screen, the Sockers with a little bit younger legs on the floor, especially in the season opener, right? Because, Travoy Morgan, young legs, Charlie Gonzalez, Juan Manuel Rojo, Escoto, Jurado, right?
Yeah.
These are the players we saw breaking away and scoring. And I think it's extremely fair to say that a 26-year-old or a 28-year-old is going to break away a little bit better than a 38-year-old will. And I think Childs would be the first to tell you that he agrees.
So, yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think, will it affect, once we have some of our players back? I don't think so, because I think that the coaching is smart enough to know when to mix those in, when it's necessary, when not to have them in. And they're also smart enough and, tenured enough to be able to say, hey, take me out, or hey, I can't come in right now, or hey, you should keep that person in because we're gonna win. They want to win. Like, it's not like Craig Childs doesn't want to win. Like if he feels like, hey, maybe right now is not the time for me to play, I'll come in when I'm needed, or I'll come in at this time or that time. I feel like that's going to be a conversation that's very easily had. I think that they've probably already had that conversation. People like Velez though still has something there, man. Like, there's still people like, like Farber and like Childs that we've talked about that still can definitely contribute. Yes, I do think that faster, younger body is going to pull off some way cooler things, that we want to see. But hey, don't hate on I think as I'm getting older, just feel like just don't hate on the older dudes. All right, let's stop that.
Who's the old guy in this conversation?
You're the one that's always giving
the old guy
trouble, Craig. That's where I'm trying to go with this. All right, you're too mean sometimes.
Yeah. 30. Oh, I'm 30 something. I'm old. That's a subtle way to take me down, man. That's a subtle way to bring down my level. Like, hey, so some of us are pushing 50 around here. It's okay. It's all right. Hey, there's one guy we haven't talked about in regards to kind of all of this on today's show that I feel like we are remiss in not discussing, because we're talking about a team that's fit. We're talking about a team that's making huge runs. We're talking about a team that's got its legs under them, but we haven't mentioned Leonardo De Oliveira. And Leo, you see the highlights, you watch the game, his fitness level is at a new place right now. Leo, the last few years, came in to be a target forward, came in to be the Brazilian bull, but he's always had that midfielder mentality. And as you remember, one of the changes that led the Sockers on their road to the Ron Newman Cup finals and the championship last year, Jerry, was taking Leo off target, acquiring Tavoy Morgan, putting Morgan at target, and bringing Leo back into the midfield, dropping Leo back into the midfield. Well, when you were playing through that highlight reel, the 10th goal of the game is a Leonardo De Oliveira empty netter. And so you see that on the page and you go, empty netter, no big deal. But you watch the highlight and he's got 3 guys around him pressing him for the ball, and he does the whoop, 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 that little thing, whoop, 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 and zip, zap, zoop. All of a sudden, he's out of the 3 players running toward the goal with an open shot, and he puts it into the empty net. A fit Leo is just a transformative player in this league, in my opinion. I truly think, and who better than Sean Bowers? A guy that's on the National Soccer Hall of Fame ballot this year, a guy who is a multi-time champion of the sport of indoor soccer and played with some of the great players in indoor soccer. And you heard it on Saturday out at our watch party, Jerry. Sean Bowers said Leonardo De Oliveira has as good of a touch in the sport of indoor as any player he's ever seen or played against. And right when he said it, because he knows his history and he knows I know my history, I said, Stan Stamenkovic, the pizza man, Stan Stamenkovic, one of the ultimate Stan the man, considered the greatest ball handler of all time. And he's like, yep, right there with Stan the man. And I mean, you watch him play, you kind of understand it, man. Leo is a special cat, and him being fit, him being like maybe minus 15 pounds, from season to season, and just having his sharpness under him, sky's the limit.
100% agree with this. And this is one thing that as I'm watching him play, and I don't know why we haven't talked about him, honestly, because I noticed something about Leo this game. As I'm watching him control that ball, first of all, I mean, the dude controls the ball like it's part of his body. And when he has the ball at his feet, his body almost looks heavier because he has so much control of the ball that it makes it seem like he's always over the ball. And so the way that his body's positioned, the way that he runs past defenders, runs past anybody really with the ball and can get past anybody that gets in front of him, you see how much strength he has. He almost looks like just solid, like he's not really moving, but he's doing so much at the same time. Go back and watch it. It's very difficult to actually put into words, but the man has so much control of the ball. Pretty much can do whatever the heck he wants with that ball. It's not just impressive, but it's something that you have to witness for yourself. Like, you have to see it to believe it, Just
come on out Sunday, folks. Come on out Sunday. This is what we're talking about, man. This is what you got to get excited about. You got to get excited about the chance to be able to see players who truly are at the top of their craft playing in this sport of indoor soccer. And Leonardo De Oliveira is so very much one of those types of players. Let's be very honest, kind of player that outdoors wouldn't stand out because he doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the full field speed and power to get things done. But you put him small-sided. You give him a chance to be constantly taking guys on 1v1, and you see the magic come out. Some players are just built for small-sided soccer, are just built for the indoor game. Craig Childs, played at the MLS level, but he was built for the indoor game. And when he came to it, he exploded through it. Gabe is bringing up Paul Wright. And Paul Wright was a guy who was an MLS star, right, when the MLS opened, but he was built for the indoor game, for that small-sided, close area type of attack. And Leonardo De Oliveira is one of those players. Brandon Escoto is one of those players, and I really think, again, when people have been handicapping the Soccers, and we've heard stuff. I don't care. I don't care what anyone else has to say out of market or whatever. Oh, I think the Soccers will finish here, there, or wherever. Who cares? You're not in our market. You don't know our team. It's all right. But that's one of the spots that I think people are underlooking is Brandon Escoto. People forget Brandon Escoto, first team all-league player, one of the 5 best players in the league, 2018-19. And then the terrible ankle injury he took, in Australia that really affected his 2019-2020 season. He was so sneakily good in 2021. 11 goals in the regular season, 6 more goals in the playoff, 11 points total, I believe. It was 6 or 5 goals in the playoffs in 7 games. Escoto's back. And it's like, 4 more points here in the opener. Nobody in the league wants to see that kid dribbling them or on his left foot in the attacking zone. It's hard to stop. And so, we're talking about this midfield for the Sockers, and you've added a guy like Lovegrove. You've added a player like a Juan Gonzalez, but then you've got Leo at the top of the group, and you've got Juras at the top of the group, and you've got Charlie Gonzalez at the top of this group. And it's like, damn. Jurado, right? Jurado, who can burst out of the midfield, had 2 breakaway runs in the opening game. You're like, wow, okay. Now you really start to see it, how no matter what combination the Sockers are rolling through their midfielders, they've always got an incredibly dangerous scoring threat on the floor in all 60 minutes.
Yeah. No, I think we're being underestimated. It being the season that it was last year, we said it multiple times on this podcast, Craig. We said, the championship is not going to matter to anybody but the people that win it.
Right.
Still very true. However, of course, it's also opened itself up to those people that don't quite understand, one, the chemistry, 2, the type of player that we have that's back, that's actually not hurt anymore. 3, just the atmosphere that we're able to bring to games now that we can be at home. That's another big part of it, right? And as we're going through this, yes, Chihuahua, we're going to be facing off a team that hasn't quite been in this league. They were, running circles around people in M2. That's fine, but that's not. I don't think that gives us enough. We're going to be able to see, as of recording today, if you guys are here with us live on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Chihuahua facing off against the Fury. That is going to be one that we all need to watch. I would recommend everybody watches this match to get a better idea of what it is exactly that we're going to be going against at this home opener. But if you're one of those people, honestly, Craig, if you're one of those people that is underestimating, that feels like the Sockers won on a year that, there was a lot of changes. Yes. And this year is going to be different. Now we're going to get all trampled over. I don't think it's going to be that easy. And honestly, I think y'all need to get a blue card and go sit yourselves down for 2 minutes and really think about what you did. That's what I think. How's that?
Everyone on Twitch saw that. Oh man, I can't wait for some of these graphics to come out in our home game on Sunday, Jerry. Hey, let's transition to that. Let's talk about what's happening at the arena this weekend, because today we're recording this Tuesday, December 14th. It was announced on Monday that on Wednesday, December 15th, the state of California has reimposed I guess kind of purple tier-ish level. I'm trying to remember back to our colored tiers from 2020. I think purple tier-ish type restrictions, which means that in any gathering of over 1,000 people, you have to wear a mask. And in fact, the state of California just says going indoors. Now, if you are in an indoor establishment, regardless of your vaccination status, double jabbed, triple jabbed like Jerry and myself, unjabbed, you have to wear a mask when you go indoors. This does apply to Pechanga Arena San Diego. You're going to need to see a mask on your face when you go through the door at Pechanga Arena San Diego. By the way, masks do work. Masks do work to prevent the spread of COVID, as well as the colds and flus and everything else. And we are on the beginning of a surge. We are at the start of a winter surge that's been predicted and is happening. So bring your mask. We will have masks for sale at the merchandise stand. If you want to get a Sockers mask, if you want to get a Sockers gator, we've had them, and it was one of those funny things. It was like, people were like, well, what are we going to do with our masks? No one wants to buy a mask anymore. Guess what? Buy a mask. And yes, John San Diego 619. You can buy a mask. You can get one of those gators that Jerry, you've seen me have on, like, gosh, almost every day. I've been a gator guy throughout the whole pandemic.
It used to be blue and now it's brown.
but that's a story for another day. So have your mask. Here's the other thing. Pechanga Arena San Diego has had in place, and we have told all of our season ticket members and all of our ticket purchasers, the rules of Pechanga Arena San Diego are that to get inside, you need to either show your vaccination status, meaning show your vax card, show that you've got the jab, or show a negative COVID test that's come back in the last 72 hours. Well, now that we're in this new tier, that changes very slightly to show your vaccination status or a negative test within the last 24 hours. So it's no longer 72 hours, it's now 24 hours. So if you do happen to be listening to us and you're unvaccinated, get the jab, man. It's healthy, it's safe, it's fine. You'll be fine. You'll help everyone. And in doing so, you'll help yourself. But short of that, if there's some reason, if there's a medical reason, whatever, that you can't get vaccinated, you can be tested for free on site outside Pechanga Arena, San Diego, before you come in. There will be 6 testing tents in the parking lot.
Oh.
But I want to say that there's 6. There's 6, okay? So if 60 people need to get tested, there's going to be 6 lines of 10 people waiting in line to get tested. So just keep that in mind. If you're somebody who does not have has not been vaccinated and you're intending to be tested on site, you might want to get there a little bit earlier so that you're not grumbling because you're stuck in a vaccine line before then you're, a testing line before you're stuck in a ticket line and you're like, oh man, one line to another line. Well, it's fine. It's keeping everyone safe. It's giving us the ability to be in the arena together. And as such, just take that into mind. Take that into mind so that you have a pleasurable match day experience. I don't want to belabor the point. I hope everybody is safe. I think everyone is going to be safe. I think that we are 2 years into this, and I feel like most California is a state that has done a really good job. San Diego specifically is a city that's done a really, really good job. Hey, Gabe, I'm with you, man. I'll wear a gaiter. Yeah. I've got glasses. When I'm wearing a mask with my glasses fog up. And so that's one of the reasons why I've always wore a gaiter, but the point is I went to Petco in April, right, for a Padres game, and they had literal mask patrol. They had the guy, I felt so bad for that guy too, who had to go up and down through the stand section by section and put your mask on. You're not drinking a beer. Put your mask on. Hey, put your mask on. That's not going to happen at the arena. It's absolutely a honor system. They're going to check you walk in, but please, keep your mask on. But if you take it off to have a drink or whatever, you're going to take it off. We're going to be spread out in the arena. We just want everyone to be responsible, be safe for themselves, be safe for others. And Gabe, you're exactly right. San Diego's over 90% vaccinated. Great job, man. Great job, San Diego County. We're a county that's fighting for each other. It makes me so much happier. It makes me so comfortable to be outside, to be inside, to be in a bar, to be in a restaurant. I feel so comfortable doing that in San Diego because I know that we're all working for each other. We're a community that's pulling for each other, and we're 90% vaxxed, and I love it. So that's the situation. I didn't want to make a big deal about it, but just so that everybody knows that's what's going on. It's 24 hours for the test, not 72 hours. So prepare, be ready, have your mask, have your gaiter, be ready, gear up, come in, let's cheer, let's be loud, let's have fun.
Hey, real quick, great question from Gabriel, who said, please update us on M2. And as we're talking about the game, hey, if you're there and you're talking about being there early, Craig, I would recommend you get there so early that you actually get to watch San Diego Sockers 2 versus Ontario Fury 2, starting at 12:30 p.m., I believe is the kickoff this Sunday, before the Sockers take on Chihuahua. So
absolutely.
There you go.
$10 tickets.
$10.
If you don't have a ticket, just come on up to the north entrance. In Spencer Ishii, our director of ticket sales, will be out there with a table to sell tickets. Everyone will be seated on the north side of Pechanga Arena for the game. Gates open at 12, and the game starts at 12:30. And I very, very much appreciate everybody who comes out and supports M2. M2 undefeated. Key Vibbard might be having a little bit of a smart parking tip there in terms of when are they going to start enforcing parking. And by the way, keep everybody, let's find out, because remember, this is going to be a little bit jarring. For the first time since 2012, 2013, the Pechanga Arena is charging parking for San Diego Soccer's home games. So try and sneak in before the parking starts. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. But if not, if they do charge you, don't get mad. That's just the situation. And we are there for 2 more seasons, guys, at Pechanga Arena, San Diego, and then we'll be in Oceanside in our own arena. So 12:30, M2. If you can't come, the game will be streamed on Facebook and YouTube with our Nate Abarea on the mic. So you get a full Nate game. You get a full Nate play-by-play experience, which is, as always, a beautiful musical roller coaster ride. Nate sends his regards. We had asked him to come on the show today. He couldn't make it. But he'll be with me, of course, on the main broadcast Sunday at 5 o'clock. And that's pretty much the last thing, is talking about the match on Sunday at 5 o'clock. Ring ceremony. Banner drop.
Ring ceremony. Dude, I'm so excited.
Justice Garment's championship video. Justice Garment's hype video. There's just so much. There's so much excitement. There's so much anticipation for this game on Sunday. And then, I think Charlie did a good job talking about it, Jerry, in terms of, and to answer the question in the Twitch stream, right about 5 o'clock, the ceremony will start. I think more accurately, like 4:55. So I would say be in your seats by 4:45 to be safe. Get your beer, get your popcorn, hot dog, whatever you want. Be settled in around 4:45. That's about when opponents will be introduced, team will be introduced, right? The kickoff will not be at 5:05. It'll be a lot closer to 5:15, 5:20 on Sunday, because we have these ceremonies. But it will not be like, we're starting the ceremony at 4:35 so that we kick off at 5. That will not be the case. We're going to do our regular 4:45 player announcements and go from there into the ceremony. So
are they going to allow us to actually stream the ring ceremony for a little bit at all?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
we'll
carry
at
it.
home get to see it.
Yeah, we'll carry it. We'll carry it live. TVX video is back. I'll be back on the air as your play-by-play voice with Nate Abarea by my side, with Melissa May as our sideline reporter, and with our TVX video crew bringing you all the sights and sounds for the Sockers and the Savage. I really don't want to say a lot about Chihuahua Savage because there's nothing to know yet. Let's watch Wednesday's game. Let's see how they play against Fury. And I think the number one thing that Sockers fans and the Sockers team is saying to themselves going into the game on Sunday is, do not underestimate Chihuahua Savage. Don't go, they were an M2 team, so they're going to be, a rollover. By the way, the players who played on Juarez for M2, that team went undefeated. They didn't lose a game until they played the Sockers 2 in the championship game. And I seem to remember, I'm just recalling from 3 years ago, but I remember guys leaving that game bloodied. They may have beaten Juarez, but Juarez took a bite out of them on the way out. So I'm expecting that kind of game from Chihuahua Savage. I'm expecting them to be fast as hell. I'm expecting them to be sharp and quick, and I am completely expecting the Sockers to be behind.
That's why they're red, because you can't see the blood apparently in their jersey.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, I hope the Sockers come out, go up 3-0, establish control, and win an easy game. But that's not really the game I'm expecting. I'm expecting a back and forth game. I'm expecting Chihuahua to come out and be a little bit savage in the way that they approach the game. And
some audio things out here. I'm gonna work on my board. Make sure we're gonna put the because you have the you got it.
Listen, make sure you tip your waitress. Try the veal. The 7:30 show is coming up shortly.
You hear every Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Every Tuesday at 5, slinging dad jokes for you here on twitch.tv/San Diego Sockers. So I think it's going to be a really good game. And quite frankly, I'm fascinated to watch Wednesday's game to see, because I'm fascinated to see what happens with Fury too.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't think any of us are for 1 second doing anything but giving the Fury the utmost respect, right? We expect them to be good. We expect them to be very good. We expect them to be one of the best teams in the league. We expect them to be a team that is going to try and challenge us and try and win every single game. And, I feel like I could have been accused of downplaying the Chris Toth signing, but I just think what it means is that whether it's Clayson DeLima or it's Chris Toth in net, you just know there's a great keeper there. For Ontario, you know that if somebody gets hurt, they've got a guy who can step in and be the everyday keeper that'll be one of the best keepers in the league, if not a goalkeeper of the year candidate. So, they've got the last 2 goalkeepers of the year on their team in Toth and DeLima. So there'd be a really, really good team. And I am a little bit curious to see where their attack comes from and how it's generated. I mean, obviously it comes through Frank Taillou. I mean, Frank Taillou's their target, their scorer. He's going to score. He's going to assist. But Charlie was the engine of the Fury offense.
Agreed.
Charlie was the 2.5 point per game player for the Fury offense. So yeah, is that Stinson now? Is it Justin Stinson that's going to be more of the primary ball handler? Is it some of the older guys, a Nestor, a Jeff Hughes, that's trying to step in and really build through? Is it one of the younger guys like the kid we saw score in the mini game, Abdul Mansouré? Is he somebody who steps up? Willie Spur, who they got from Tacoma, they're talking him up as maybe he'll be a player who steps in and is a star in the midfield. We're going to have to wait and see. So on both sides of the field, I'm fascinated to watch Ontario, Chihuahua, Wednesday night, Toyota Arena. I'm super torn because Wednesday night is Survivor 41 season finale night. And I was like, I'm going to sit down with my popcorn and my beer and I'm going to watch Survivor. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to watch the MASL.
Screen going.
Maybe I'll have a couple of screens going.
Maybe do that.
Maybe I might be watching the Survivor too.
The buzz. Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I want to see. You said Nestor Hernandez. I think that's one of the players too that I'm going to be looking to see if he steps up and makes that difference, right?
Yeah.
And then how many, for this season, honestly, as a just something to look out for, like how many reds Travis Pittman will get for them too. That's another thing to look out for. Sorry, I'm just throwing that.
We've got these red card graphics.
I just really want
that we made, and like as we were doing it, we all knew that like there's like 2 red cards a year in our sport. Like there's maybe 2 red cards a year. You could probably go 4 or 5 years without seeing a red, in your game. And I just got to tell you guys, Jerry was sending me some of the gifts. Hey, if you have Twitter, open up a new tweet, right? Like you were about to compose a tweet, hit that little GIF button.
Insider news, right? Hold on. You guys don't understand. You're getting some insider news right now because I don't think anybody knows about this yet. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So open up a new tweet on Twitter, click that GIF bar, and in the search, type Sockers. Just type Sockers and see what pops up. Because Jerry has been doing work, my friends.
Well, so has Justice Parman.
Jerry y Justice están trabajando mucho. And it looks amazing. We have some fun stuff. And Jerry sent me one of those gifts with Xavier. And I believe I wrote back to you in all caps, please God, let there be a red card at home against an opponent this year. I don't want it to be with a soccer player like writhing on the ground. I hope it's more like yellow accumulation or something. But please let there be a red card so that we can play that graphic on the screen.
I think we just lost a bunch of listeners because they all went to Twitter to go and look to see what we're talking about. No, they're back. Okay, they saw it.
Oh,
welcome back to everybody to Twitch. No, but one of the things that I'm really, really excited about, we talked about the banner drop, we talked about the ring ceremony. Those are going to be obviously something you don't get to experience very often, unless you're a supporter of the Sockers. But it's not one of those things you get to experience as a fan of sports just in general. So come out this weekend. It's going to be an awesome time. But also, sir, we have a fantastic giveaway. Like a really cool giveaway.
Why don't you show the people what we're talking about.
Should we show 'em?
Because our artist in resident, Travis Peterson, has been hard at work behind the scenes to create a poster that commemorates the San Diego Soccer's Ron Newman Cup championship, that ties in the legacy of winning that is unique to the San Diego Soccers within San Diego sports, and also to give you a chance to have a poster on your wall that lets you know when all the games are coming up this year. Our championship schedule poster. If you're watching on Twitch, you are seeing it for the first time. World debut. No one has seen this other than yourself, myself, and the front office, Jerry. And it is a artist rendition of both that moment when the Soccers lifted the cup, and also the confetti has been turned into actual newspaper articles through the history of the Soccers of all the other championships they've won. But as the confetti and the various articles are fluttering around, they create a negative space in the top middle of the poster that is the Ron Newman Cup logo. So an incredibly beautiful poster. And of course, at the bottom, it has in blue against yellow background our full 24 game regular season schedule. So it's a gorgeous poster, a really high quality poster, something that you will be thrilled to hang up in your office, in your rumpus room, in your kid's bedroom, wherever you want to post it. You could frame it. It's such a pretty poster. That goes to the first 1,500 through the doors at Pechanga Arena, San Diego on Sunday evening.
I feel like maybe now that everybody here on Twitch gets the first look at it, now we can post about it. See, this is how special we're making these shows for people.
Exactly. Right? We want you to get it first, live from our mouths. How many times have I just like stupidly spilled tea on this show over the years, Jared?
Dude,
I mean, like,
I don't think people understand how many times you have spilled tea. I'm like,
right.
After we recorded, are we allowed to talk about that? You're like, we'll leave it in there. Or, oh no, I have to take that out. Or, stuff like that. But when we're doing it live, you can't edit. So if you're not watching,
correct,
you're missing out on some stuff. But so there you go. No, I'm really excited to get that poster, and shout out to Travis Peterson for the amazing design. And I think it's also, honestly, let's take a look at it one more time. I think it's something that honors the amount of work that Mr. Craig Elsten has done on these series. If you haven't been following us on social media, he has spent countless days, hours, just so much time to put together the history of the Soccers. And this poster, as you look at it, has a lot of the work in there that Craig has done. You go into some of the, some of our championships, some of the best moments of the Soccers, and it brings us to this new era now that we are in with the 15th-time champion, the San Diego Soccers, bringing the club into a new era, as we are trying to do here on Twitch. Dude, I'm so excited. I'm so happy with the amount of work, not just that Travis has done on that, but also the amount of work that you have done, sir. So kudos to you and what that poster means. It means a lot to those of us that are a part of this, this club, that behind the scenes, in that you guys, actually all of you that are part of this club that are listening to this now, you understand the amount of history and pride that goes into that crest and putting that crest on. Now we have to show the players, the new players coming in, and make them really feel it. And we start on the 19th.
We absolutely do. And I appreciate that, Jerry. Everyone who is a Soccers fan, a true Soccers supporter, is a defender of a legacy that is unique to San Diego sports. If our flame dies out, if the memory of the San Diego Soccers ever dies and fades, the one absolute true championship legacy of success in so professional sports will be extinguished from the face of the earth. Never let that happen. That must never happen. We are the defenders of this legacy. We are the keepers of the flame of the greatness of the sport of indoor soccer in San Diego. You continue that tradition by coming to our game on Sunday. Let's just wrap up there. sdsoccers.com/tickets. If you haven't got your tickets, I'm going to say this one more time. If you're a supporter, we want you in Section 19. Pechanga Arena, we've spent years trying to fight and battle and scratch and claw to get to a spot where supporters could be comfortable, could be able to express themselves, to be themselves, to have the drums, to have the flags. There's new management at Pechanga Arena San Diego. They are on board. I've been at meetings back-to-back days at the arena. They're on board. They understand. I heard it from their guy's mouth. We need to take care of our supporters. He said that. We need to take care of our supporters. I need you to be our supporters. I need you to be in Section 19 and be those people and contribute that energy, just like Jerry and I do for Loyal when we are members of the locals in Section 109, to bring that energy. So if you are listening to this podcast and you are one of my friends that is a supporter, whether you're in locals, whether you're in Chavos de Loyal, whether you're in Rainbow Loyals, if you're one of Jerry's friends too, please take this as an entreaty from a friend to a friend. We want you there on Sunday. Yes, I know you're going to make it to a bunch of games and you're going to support us this year, but how about Sunday? How about the first one? How about the one where the banner drops and the rings are lifted? Let's be there for game one. Let's set the precedent and then build it and grow it from there. If you call Spencer Ishii in our Soccer's front office, or you go to the box office and you say, I'm a supporter, call us up, 866-799-GOAL, say, I'm a supporter. You get a $12 ticket to be in Section 19. Okay, it's an $8 savings off of the regular single game price. $12 ticket. That's a great ticket to be a great part and have a great night, and be part of the energy of a championship franchise. So we want to see our supporters out there. SDSoccers.com/tickets, but call Spencer. You cannot get a supporter's ticket at a supporter's price online. You must call to get it. It's that extra step that'll give you the personal touch that'll get you that $12 ticket. 866-799-GOAL. When you call Spencer, you say, I'm a supporter. Put me in 19. And we will see you there. Jerry, where can folks keep up with you during the week?
Y'all can follow me at Cheeto Jerry on all social media, wherever you want to follow me. But mainly, sir, great news. We hit 10,000 on Instagram. We've been trying to get to this. Now, Instagram, please fix your damn system so that we can actually please.
6 days in a row. Right.
Follow me at Cheeto Jerry. Follow the Soccers at San Diego Soccers everywhere. Please do that now. That's it. How about you, Craig? Where can they find you?
Follow me on Twitter at 619sports, as over 10,500 of you do. And follow me on Instagram at 619sports in life, where like 800 of you do. But, please make that number bigger. Get pictures of my pug and my 10-year-old son, James, at 619sports in life on Instagram. That wraps up today's show. Thanks to everybody who joined us live. Thanks to everybody who's listening worldwide on our Soccer's Overtime podcast. For Jerry Jimenez, I'm Craig Elsten. Thanks for making it to the end. We appreciate it. We will see you Sunday, 5 p.m. MASL on YouTube. We will see you at Pechanga Arena for the ring ceremony. Until then, so long and go Soccers.